everyone, and welcome back to Tales from Cazilor, the Golden Era. With me, I am joined by most of the main cast of the D&Dorks. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. The silent hello from Jeremiah. Momo could not make it to this session, just work schedule conflicts. If you know anything about D&D, even we can't avoid that. That is no issue at all. We will continue charging forward. The show must go on. Last episode 3, the headliner squad received their first assignment, investigating a string of disappearances in the eastern town of Loneshire. They also received their squad war correspondent, Sue Young, who, of course, by pure coincidence, happens to write for the Daily Scripts. Once in Loneshire, the headliners got to investigating and came to the conclusion that people were being kidnapped by fairies, intelligent monsters who are aligned with the Atrarians, and that these fairies were specifically after blessed and gifted people for unknown reasons. After using Argy as bait, they tracked the fairies to a mysterious whirlpool in the middle of the Wildwood Forest. This whirlpool turned out to be some kind of doorway, as an Atrarian giant crawled out from the water. An intense battle ensued, which was an overall success. But in the very last moments, as Lexi Delac struck down the giant who had fallen prone thanks to our anchors, a fairy holding a small boy escaped into the whirlpool. And as this happens, there is just a few seconds of pause, as all we can hear is the gushing of the whirlpool in the dark forest. Players, I don't want any actions from you yet, but I would like to go around and ask what's going through your character's mind in this brief moment. As one fairy slips away, another is being restrained by Amphis, and Lexi stands atop the giant's corpse covered in blood. Starting with Captain Baina.
In Baina's mind, I don't think this pause is even really a transition. Like, to him, this is not finished yet. It will not be finished until they get that kid back, or at least figure out what the hell happened. There's like a half second of appreciation for the squad, genuinely in his mind. He's like, all right, everyone's done well so far. And then immediately his brain ticks over to, what does everybody need to do next?
Right.
He is locked in very, 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 very intensely.
Argy, what about you?
A recap of Argy's last hour. He was kidnapped by these little flying creatures, drugged, came to midair with a giant in his face, saw a person get squished right in front of him. Argy is focusing on the immediates of combat right in front of him and what is being wrapped up. I don't think he notices much the boy being gone, sad as it is to say, but Argy's kind of got tunnel vision right now.
There's a lot going on. A 30-foot giant just slammed into the ground right in front of you. How about you, Jeremiah?
Jeremiah, if everybody remembers, is currently waiting at the edge of the portal, having asked the captain if he could go in after the kid immediately. He knew that the giant situation was handled by that point and has already asked to go after the kid. He is in a very similar headspace to Baina of, this is not over, this fight isn't done. We killed the biggest threat for sure. But we have an open door and a lost kid that doesn't need to die. And if we let him die on our watch, that's our fault because we didn't save them.
Absolutely. And this all of these thoughts and emotions happen in probably just like a second or two, where the giant just collapsed, the kid just vanished, and all of these thoughts are racing through your minds. Immediately, all of you hear and a red signaling arrow fires into the air from Highblade Vera. And she rides into the field on her horse, shouting, "Steel yourselves, headliners! The fight is not over! We'll be splitting into 3 groups. Lexi and Winnie, head back into town and prepare Lone Shire for a potential evacuation. We need the citizens awake and ready just in case. Have the local authorities assist you. If you see a violet signal, you leave, no matter what. If you see green, then the coast is clear. Group 2, you'll stay with Baina and interrogate our new friend here for information. Captain Baina, you can decide which knights you want here to assist you with this. Whoever remains, if any, will be coming with me through the portal." And as she says this, she rides up and joins Jeremiah at the edge of the whirlpool. Baina.
Okay.
Who do you decide?
So who's my sort of roster that we got here? Lexi and Winnie.
Lexi and Winnie are gone.
Going back to the village. That makes sense.
You get RG, Ari, Jeremiah.
Okay.
RG, Ari, Jeremiah, and Splat. But
Ari, I definitely want up here because I want Ari on Overwatch. I want her to have an arrow constantly knocked and ready. If something comes out of that portal that's an enemy, I want it anchored the second it appears.
Got it.
So Ari's here. In the same vein, especially since RG's had a fucking hell of a night, I'll probably say RG stay here too. He can stay with his sister. Also, he's been actively thrown into one chaotic situation. The second one's probably not good. I mean, I know where Jeremiah wants to go, and in this case, if he's being overseen by Vera, I'm gonna let him.
Okay. And then you just have Splat. Do you want Splat here?
Who is the logically? I'm just gonna send Splat with whoever's the most injured. So, I think that is actually Jeremiah at the moment.
I did get thrown.
Yeah, if because I know the 2 that were like really injured after the last fight were Lexi and Jeremiah. Lexi's gone. So I think Jeremiah is the most injured at the moment. So
I'm at 19 out of 32 hit points.
Cool. Splat. So Baina articulates all this, I assume, in a timely manner.
I can go through and do it in character if you want, but that was just my out of character breakdown.
It is all right. We can use our imagination.
Yes.
Theater of the mind.
Theater of the mind. Splat immediately runs up and will go to patch up Jeremiah. He looks visibly shaken, but Jeremiah, you're going to get... I got to roll for this. You're going to get 4d4 plus 4 healing done to you. Where am I? D4. Here we go. So you're going to get... That's 6, 7, 13 plus 4, 17 healing. He hands you like a little shooter of like a potion. And he goes, "Here, drink this, and then let me see your wounds," and sort of like sees like a huge gash on your arm, bandages it up, makes sure it's not doing anything too crazy. And he does this fast. I mean, he's clearly well trained in this.
Gotcha. I'm fully healed. That is, he's really good at this.
He looks visibly shaken. Vera actually speaks up here and puts a hand on Splat's shoulder and goes, "Splat, I would actually like you to stay just outside the portal. We're not only going in to rescue that boy, but we're also going to find out information, and we might find more hostages on the other side. Anybody we send through, I want you to tend to them." And he goes, Yes, ma'am. Looking slightly relieved that he doesn't have to jump through a wormhole. And he stays at the side. Spud helps him sort of, or Spud stands beside him as he unpacks all of his gear and just sort of sets up a little medics area right outside the whirlpool. Vera turns to you, Jeremiah, and goes, "You sure you're ready for this?"
Jeremiah kind kind of shaking off the dust from being thrown into like a tree, is just looks her dead in the face and goes, "There's a kid we need to save."
Let's go then. And I assume you both jump in together.
Is there any leftover climbing hooks, axes anywhere?
You would have to take some from somebody. You'd have to borrow some from RG.
Okay. RG, you're hanging around your sister right now, right?
Yes.
You have 2?
2, sorry?
Climbing axes.
Yes.
I'm kind of thinking of a way to tether myself here. So I'm like sticking mine with the chain into the ground outside the portal, then jumping in, and I still need a weapon. So I walking over to you and seeing that you are a little fucking shaken right now. I'm like, I just hold out my hand like, can I borrow it? I'll bring it back.
Sure. If you're lucky.
Grab it, sink my thing into the ground, and I jump in immediately. The second that it's like, are you ready for this? We have a kid to save. Kink, gone.
Kink, gone. Vera jumps in without a tether. And you both... The sensation... So before, when you just stuck your hand in and then eventually your whole body, I described it as almost a celestial handshake. Like you are feeling the presence of Mother Nature in this water. But it wasn't overwhelming and it wasn't scary and it didn't feel dangerous. You dive in and it's extremely comfortable. It's like the water is the perfect temperature. It's all around you. It's rushing and gushing towards you and you sink to the bottom towards this ball of light, both you and Vera, to the point where the light completely consumes your vision, this blue light. And you're still underwater. You can't breathe, but you feel yourself, you're not even swimming, you are being taken somewhere by a current.
Gotcha.
And eventually, after a few seconds and a few seconds longer, like 30 seconds, you're like, gosh, I hope I'm not just drowning at the bottom of a whirlpool right now.
Yeah.
Eventually,
oh God.
you get spat back out. You splash out of the water, probably a little disoriented, and you land on wet rock. Give me a perception check.
Ooh. All right. What's my bonus? I should know this bonus by this point. Please. That is going to be an 11.
An 11. Luckily, you have Highblade Vera with you.
Thank God. Lady with the eyes.
Lady with the eyes. And she rolls a 22. You appear... So, I'll tell you what you see, because you're the only player here. You are in a wet, dank cave. This cave is huge. Like, you can't see the top. You're in like this huge cavern. And the water is rushing and gushing. You came out of a whirlpool that looks very similar to the one you just entered into, but you're clearly not in the same location. But the first thing that becomes immediately apparent to you is that you see that small boy and a very injured-looking fairy, both on the ground. The boy is holding a rock, and the fairy's like flying around, and you speak giant. You and Vera both speak giant. And so
right,
the fairy's like, come on, kid, would you just calm down? There's no point in fighting. You're already through the portal. And the kid's like, get the fuck away from me! Ah! And that is the scene you come upon.
Whew. So is he like going for the kid? Is he going
Yeah.
for the fairy with the rock? Like, is
Well,
he
he's more
actively,
like back against the wall, defending himself with a rock.
Got it. He's defending himself with
Yes.
the fairy is coming for him.
Yes.
Okay, absolutely. The second I see that, I'm pouncing this fucking fairy. I'm gonna try and swoop in and get in between the kid and the fairy and cut it at the same time.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll. With advantage.
With advantage. All right. That is going to be, well, that's a dirty 24. And that'll be a 1, so that'll be a dirty 24.
Dirty 24 will definitely hit, and I will reveal this now because I didn't last episode. Winnie had fired an arrow at this fairy just as it was leaving, but only dealt 4 damage. This thing had 1 health left.
Oh my god.
And so with a simple strike, you strike it down easily, and it lies bloody on the cavern floor. And the kid's like, "You came!"
I immediately turn around and I like hand side of the kid's head. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I am now. Because you
Good.
came.
I told you nothing was gonna happen to you. I grab the kid like across the shoulders. I turn Highblade Vera, ready to proceed.
Now, Jeremiah, she points over to the side, and you see light at the end of a tunnel, but you can't see out. We would greatly benefit from doing some investigating here. I could do this alone if you would like, but I would like you here. We can send a kid back first if you would prefer.
Okay, so I want everybody in the audience to know the chess game I'm playing in my head right now. Because I know the tricky type of motherfucker that Nathan is. So I know that chess move-wise, if I go through this portal alone, having gone in with Vera and coming out with the kid everyone knows I went in there to save, and then the portal closes... The politics of that situation will end up making it look like I killed Vera, which will send things into a fucking tailspin. And the reason I have to think about this is because I know the shit you would pull. So...
What? Me?
I've met you before, Nate.
I know your game.
So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go... Jeremiah's looking at him and goes, "Okay, Highblade, one moment." And he disconnects the chain from his belt and he hands it to the kid. And he goes, "Listen.
Yeah.
You've already been a hero today, and I know that this is asking more of you than is ever reasonable to ask of anybody. But I need you to be able to get out of here. Pull on this chain and climb up it. Do not let go, no matter how hard the water pulls you. I need you to climb up this chain to safety. On the other end, there will be others to protect you. But you need to get out of here. Okay. We're going to go and save the world. Do you understand?"
I know you will. I can do it.
Okay. Good job, hero. You got this.
And
and I send him on his way.
he stands at the edge, and he turns back to you and gives you the same Masmus salute that you gave him earlier last episode. And he dives in. Now, at this moment, Highblade Vera signals to you. She's already kind of sort of walking towards the light at the end of the tunnel. The light is not sunlight because it's the middle of the night. It's like candlelight, lantern light. She kind of walks up and posts up behind a boulder and signals you over. And this may seem a little redundant, but I'm going to need another perception check as you look outside the open mouth of this cave and see where exactly you are.
16.
So you see a campsite. It isn't like a full-on war camp. With a 16, you could tell that much. It is an Atrarian camp, though. You see the tents are made out of grown trees with then like Atrarian tarps pulled over them to form tents. And you see a bunch of stakes with lights, crystal lights in them all throughout, sort of lighting the area. You see cages with people in them, humans. They're in the camp. They're closer to the cave, but they're in the camp. The camp is kind of like, there's like a lot of tall grass and trees, and the camp is sort of like downhill from here. And you also see 3 giants. And Vera speaks up and goes, "You know something, Jeremiah? I don't know if I ever told you this, but did you ever wonder how you got caught when you did?"
I want it stated that as this is happening, Jeremiah has taken his cape off and is tearing a piece of the fabric off to make into a makeshift rope for the climbing axe that RG gave him.
Got it. You're
as he's doing this.
Okay.
As this conversation is happening, very nonchalantly, he goes, "Of course I wondered, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that I know how I got caught. One of the people that I ended up taking was one of yours. You were ultimately going to lead me into a trap. You were going to try and stop me with the giant because you didn't think that I would be able to take it on alone. Then I ended up killing it, which escalated my crimes from simple kidnapping into murder. So then you ended up getting me for life, and now we're here. And I am just cinching down the axe as this is all happening. This is not... None of this is a mystery to him.
Right. And Vera isn't looking at you while she's talking. Just how you are honed in on your craft, she is on hers. She is not blinking. Now that you think about it, you don't know if she has the need to. And she is just scanning her orange, hawk-like eyes. And she goes, "You are absolutely correct. You see, we noticed that you had a certain trait that not every criminal had. So if you saw someone in need, you had to help them. Your conscience wouldn't let you abandon them. And so it was as simple as planting one of our own. And when that plan worked, all I could think of was that we're not so different. Because tonight, Jeremiah," and she points to those cages, she goes, "we will be saving everyone."
Jeremiah lets the rope go just enough that he has enough to swing of this axe, and looking out at the cages, fully just armed and ready, he just goes, "When this is over, you really need to debate who the good guys are."
And we will cut away from that moment as we head back over to interrogation group. Bana, RG, what's going down?
So, I remember, RG, you can speak giant, right? Or am I mixing that up? Okay, so I'm definitely going to want you with me for this fairy, yeah. Splat's near the portal. I have Ari watching over the portal. I'm going to gesture for RG to come over with me. And I'm going to sit down on like a rock or a log or something across from this fairy that we've captured. Very surprisingly casually. Bane is going to sit there. I'm going to raise up a hand. He snaps his fingers, and when he does that, Amphis twists up and coils around this thing's neck.
And it squirms. It's
yeah. can you speak our language, or do you only speak Giant? Either one will do for this. It'll just be easier to sort that up front.
He speaks in Giant, and he says, "Fuck you."
He only speaks Giant, sir.
All right. Good. Fortunately, one of my men speaks Giant as well, so this will be easy enough. First question. For what purpose are you taking these people?
Give me an intimidation check.
Cool. Do I get anything for actively having my cool snake literally wrapped around this man's neck?
No.
Damn, all right, fair enough. It was worth asking. That's only a 9. That was a low roll.
This fairy squirms and writhes and goes, "I'm not telling you anything."
Okay. Bane is gonna stand up. Let's see. How I don't remember what the health totals this for these things were. Obviously, I didn't know the number, but like, how injured does this fairy look from the fight previously?
This is one of the least injured fairies, if I remember correctly, but it's at least, I mean, it's still pretty injured.
Okay. See, this is where I get to show that Bane is kind of scary when he has to be. I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna take out an anchoring arrow from my quiver, and I'm gonna stab it directly into the center of this thing's back so that the arrow activates and like tethers it to the ground even further. And then that's it. Goes there. Now that you're trapped in 2 ways, my snake can coil tighter without freedom of you getting away. I'm more than willing to put as many of these arrows in you as I need to. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
The question's been posed. Answer.
What was your exact question?
For what purpose are you taking these people?
The fairy goes, "It's all part of the grand plan."
I hold up a hand, not full like snap, just a little bit. Amphis coils a little bit tighter. And the grand plan is? Specifics are what I need.
You think someone like me would know?
What do you know?
What do you know of the name Fairtala, the Grimshar?
Hey Nathan, DM of Cazilor, what do I know about the name Fertala the Grimshaw?
Oh boy! I'm glad you asked.
Cool.
First off, the Grimshar is a giant word, but it's one of the few that you would recognize because it's a rank. Grimshar is essentially a commander, a general, a very high-ranking Atrarian military member. As far as Fairtala, anybody who hears that can give me a history check.
Cool. What is Bane's history? It's
Hey,
good. I know that.
That's a 23.
20.
Oh, I'm rolling low today. I only got a 12.
RG, you know the name Fairtala. Fairtala the Grimshar was credited with the idea of the attack on Thalm and the attack on Quagora, was credited with the idea of sailing over the Knife's Edge and doing an attack by sea, the first one ever done in the war's history. Fairtala came up with that plan, led that plan, and ultimately relatively succeeded in that plan.
So this is like the innovative general.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's
And
bad.
with a 23, RG, you would also know that rumor has it, now this could be Atrarian propaganda, but rumor has it that when she devised this plan, she was a kid.
Ooh.
Huh.
Now, I should note this. RG might be doing this anyway, just given his personality. Just in case, Bana knows you have a notebook on him. He's going to tell you to write all this down. So we have
Yes,
everything.
sir.
I figured as much. Okay, so with that, the question was specifically posed as, what do you know? So I'm aware of her reputation of an innovative general for the Atrarian army, and it's a name that I know not to take lightly. I can assume she's behind this in some sense.
You assume correct.
What were your specific instructions with this plan, even if you don't know the reasoning behind them?
And why should I tell you?
Amphis is going to bite the side of his face.
His fleshy wings pressing against Amphis's restriction. He goes, what fucking difference does it make? Either I tell you, get sent away to the Atrarians and die, or I don't tell you and die.
Baina's going to lean in very close. And he's just going to say, when did I ever give you the impression I was going to let you die?
Roll intimidation with advantage.
Thank God.
With advantage.
That's good, because that advantage is really going to help. That's an 18.
He goes, fuck you. All right, listen. We don't know shit. This shit goes so far above us. We were told by the giants at the camp to come through here, utilize this portal, and take as many people from the church that we could. We asked them why the church. They said a lot of blessed people go to the church. And obviously, we can't tell that shit. So then when they closed down the church, well, we just started grabbing, okay? It's just, we made do with what we had.
That's good information. Thank you. One final question. Well, perhaps more, but one question for now. This camp that you mentioned, what's the location of it? Clearly, it's spatially linked to here by some mystical method. I doubt it's anywhere around here. Where is that other end?
He says, ugh. It appeared somewhere off near the coast of the Morinfair Gulf. And you would know the Morinfair Gulf to be very northern Atraria. So quite a ways away.
Yeah, far, far into enemy territory. Got it. Okay, I think that's all the questions Baina has for now, but I also know that RG comes from a journalism family, so I'm going to turn... RG, those are all the questions I have at the moment. Do you have anything that might be helpful?
Before RG says anything, I'd like to ask out of character, this portal, is it any kind of phenomenon? I guess I would ask if I could do a history check on it to see if because this is some kind of, for lack of better term, magic.
Yes.
In a world without spell casting.
Yes.
So
roll me a history check. Go ahead.
Can I assist with that? We can compare notes.
Roll it with
Okay,
advantage.
Cool. That'd be fantastic, because the first roll wasn't stellar, and the second roll was a nat 20.
Nat 20.
This interrogation's going great.
Wow.
We're killing it.
RG had a hyperfixation on magic of the natural world at some point in his life. So, I'm going to give you the whole scoop. It's a nat 20. You earned it. Portals. Portals in the wild. This is a thing. It's a naturally occurring thing. It is there's no person that created this portal. It is a natural phenomenon that occurs in areas where nature is most untouched. They are extremely, extremely rare. They are extremely, extremely volatile. When they do show up, they connect 2 points in space, in nature, with no discretion. And they usually only last days, maybe weeks, until they disperse, which is why this whirlpool looks so volatile right now. It's also not always a whirlpool. It can be anything. It could be just a hole in the ground, or a tree that the fucking owl hole in the tree. If you crawl through it, you end up somewhere else. They're hard to find. They are impossible to track. And so the odds, in case you were wondering, the odds of this being utilized as a tool of war, not really in the cards. What has happened here is an amazing stroke of luck for the Atrarians. The fact that they were able to find this and that it just so happened to be in two advantageous positions on a map, it's like less likely than a lottery ticket.
That's either good or means they have some sort of trick we don't know about to weigh the odds. So that's either really good or really bad. I
don't know if this fairy would know.
I was about to say, I don't think that this guy would know.
Well, I was going to say, portals are naturally occurring and incredibly random. Who found this portal from your camp?
Hell if I know. We just get our orders.
From...
I get my orders from Wahari the Cad.
Wahari the Cad. And would that name ring any bells to me?
It would not. Wahari...
That just means like a knight, right? So that's probably not like
Cad
a
for them means like a captain.
Oh,
okay.
For them, a knight would be like a grunt.
Okay.
And
so not like high ranking enough that they would be known like a general would.
No.
Okay.
Like Cad is like 2 steps below a Grimshar, or maybe even 3. I can't quite remember.
Okay.
But yeah, you've already killed a Cad tonight. So,
yeah. I apologize to ask so much of you under duress. Believe me, I can relate. Are there any other naturally occurring weapons, seemingly random phenomena that you or your troop have taken advantage of recently?
No, this is the first and only.
And how did your leadership explain it? A miracle?
They said the wild chose sides.
What's going to happen to these people you took?
Wish I could tell you. We bring them in. That giants take a look at him. You see, he's kind of looking pale now. Giants take a look at him. And then they take him away.
If I also notice that he's looking pale, I'm going to run over to Splat, and I'm going to see if Splat has some sort of medicine we could use, but first, and probably more importantly, any sort of sedative that we can use on this guy. I don't know what he carries in his kit.
Yeah, of course. I got some, and he hands you a mushroom, and he hands you a health potion. A little shooter. This'll chill him out, this'll fix him up.
All right. I'm going to rush those back. Like, I'll let RG keep talking, but I have those on hand, like, if he starts to look really bad.
Yeah.
Did you receive any other instructions? You may not know the final fates of these people, any specific way they were to be kept, place they were to be kept?
Just to bring them back alive. Can I go?
There you go.
If he starts coughing, I'm going to very quickly, with Amphis assisted if needed, administer the health potion and then the mushroom shortly after. Hopefully with both Amphis and the anchoring arrow, the health potion does not give him enough to struggle. But we want him unconscious, but also not dead. At
this time, so the fairy kind of... Do you want the sedative to knock him unconscious?
If possible, yeah.
If that's what you wanted from Splat, then that's what he would have gave you.
That's and so because I want him available for other people to interrogate if needed.
He's like, fuck you, and passes out. And at that moment, splashing out from the whirlpool, a kid crawls out, and Splat goes, "Holy shit, they got him!" and helps him out and immediately starts tending to his wounds. He's got some claw marks on him from the fairy and stuff like that. And we will cut back over to Jeremiah and Vera. Now, Vera, we'll say this is all kind of happening at the same time, right? But Okay, sweet. I thought I was about to activate the intro on accident. Vera says, there's 3 giants. She kind of, it's hard for you to see this because it's dark, but she goes, it looks like one of them is a cad, one of them is a grunt, and one of them isn't wearing any kind of military uniform of any kind. That said, I still don't like our chances in an all-out brawl. I think perhaps stealth is our best bet here. Either that or a diversion of some kind. I'm open to ideas.
Can you see what the cages are made out of?
She looks over and she goes, this was like branches, wood. I don't know if you noticed when we came in, but we also have these. And she turns back, and this giant cave is being used as sort of like a storage. There are giant-sized, so they're pretty big. They're probably like 10 feet tall. Giant-sized barrels with markings for explosives.
Upon seeing that, looking back at the materials and the people, Vera's wearing a black cape, right? I have a red cape. She has a black cape.
Correct.
How far away are we from the lake that we just came out of?
From like the whirlpool, I would say.
Yeah.
It was a decent ways into the cave, probably like 50 feet in.
And is it glowing?
It is glowing. Yeah, it's glowing blue. And you see the light shimmering on the roof of the cave wall.
Gotcha. So I have a plan. Bana would hate it. I'm willing to run it by you.
I tend to like plans that Bana doesn't. He's a little too safe.
Well, I'm sure that we could fashion some sort of carrying system for some of those, looking back at the explosives. And I can place them around the perimeter of the camp stealthily. Then, what type of fighting does Vera do? Is she like ranged, explosive? Like what does she do?
She is primarily ranged, but she, as a high blade, has an adept skill set in any form.
Gotcha. And there's 3 cages? How many cages are there?
So there's 3 giants.
3 giants.
And there is one big cage. Notably, there's probably about, now that you've had time to sort of look, there's probably about 8 people in the cage, which it's not everyone that's gone missing, but
right, but it's some.
It's some. And then,
I will.
You might want to know this too. The giants aren't guarding the cage necessarily.
They're just there.
There's like a cage. There's some tents, and probably like 30, 40 feet away from the cage, they're all like sitting at like a table.
All right. You see a grin go across Jeremiah's face. Highblade Vera, how theatrical do you like to be?
You don't become a high blade by being boring.
I'm about to earn my name then. So I'm going to communicate the plan that I'm having so I don't have to figure out a way that he's going to say it.
Yes, go ahead.
The plan is to scoop up as much of the explosive powder as I can and create a perimeter around the camp.
Okay.
Find a advantageous spot away from the cage. Activate the gunpowder, essentially, myself. Light it all on fire to draw the attention, and have Highblade shoot the lock off of the cage, or get the lock off of the cage and take the people to freedom. The goal is essentially herd all of the prisoners to safety while Giant's Bane is distracting them with fire and explosions. and have her be able to take all of the prisoners back. As well as once the prisoners are gone, they're going to kind of be bottlenecked into where the explosive barrels are. And as we are leaving, we can detonate them. Or specifically, I can detonate them, seeing as I would have to be the last one out.
Right.
So that's the plan Jeremiah proposes, is essentially set up a flaming spectacle of a fight that they can't refuse. And while that's going on, Highblade Vera rescues all of the civilians, and then when I'm running, blow this place to Kingdom Come.
Highblade Vera, for the very first time, smiles ear to ear. It's almost unsettling because you've never seen her smile. And she goes,
yes.
I think this will do great. And you guys get cooking. So I'm going to need various amounts of checks for this.
Yep, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay.
You know it's a good plan when the DM says you're going to need to do many checks.
You're going to need to do so many checks. That is always a good thing.
So Vera will pitch a secondary variation to this, which is instead of lining out explosives across the whole camp, we create one, we pick like one tent to do one massive explosion to draw their attention, probably the one farthest away from the cage, because that'll be easier than trying to create a perimeter.
Got it. That works for me.
And she's going to make an investigation check quickly inside the cave, because this place is used for storage. For anything else perhaps of use?
I'll do the same. I'll do another investigation while I'm looking around. I'm tied down to the plan. I gotta
Okay.
What is that? I got a 7. That didn't do shit.
She finds some like cloth that's covering up some other thing. She uses her sword to cut it and sort of forms a makeshift satchel for you to fill up with explosive powder.
Hell yes.
And she's able to make, let me give like a sleight of hand check here. Oh my gosh, that's a dirty 20. She's able to make like 3 of these. And so you can just load up. And
absolutely.
She goes, if this is what I think it is, and she kind of smells it, she goes, yeah, this will be plenty. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure you want to be that close when this happens. And she hands you the bags.
Got it. I stashed them immediately on like my belt, instantaneously. All right. Is Vera confident she can either sneak? I don't care how she opens the gate, if it's sneaking or walking or shooting the fucking lock off. Are you confident you can do it if I give you enough of a distraction? I will give you enough of a distraction, but are you confident you can get it in time?
She says, I am 100% confident. No matter what your fate may be, all of those civilians will survive.
That's what I like to hear. And I'm going to go right to that fucking tent. I'm not going inside the tent. I am going to go on top of the tent as best as possible.
On top of, okay.
Because I'm assuming it's a more heavy duty, not just like lean-to sort of. If it is a lean-to, then no. But
yeah,
if it's
no, it's like. So first off, I'm gonna need a stealth check, big dog.
Of course, yes.
I'm gonna need a stealth check before I narrate everything you go through.
That's an 18.
An 18. Vera's gonna roll as well. Okay. You managed to get all the way around to, I assume you go to the farthest tent.
Yes.
From the cage. So you come down out the mouth of this cave. Extremely tall grass. It's like somebody didn't mow their lawn in like 20 years. The grass is like as tall as you. So it's relatively easy to sneak around.
Gotcha.
That's a bit of an exaggeration, but it's probably like 4 feet tall. Really tall grass. You're able to sort of zip around in the dead of night. The overcast is really doing you favors here because the moonlight isn't lighting anything, so they only have the lanterns that they have set up. As when you're not in the lanterns, it's just hard to see.
Before we continue on, saving it for later, I also want it known that I strapped the corpse of that the corpse of that fairy to my back as well before I went in here.
I also have a question for you. You got the name Giant's Bane because you killed a giant one-on-one. Had you killed any actual Atrarian giants prior to that?
So mentally, I have been thinking that he has killed a lot of Atrarian giants.
Yeah.
Hence why he has a very developed, like, hit the points that hurt sort of fighting style. So he has killed a shit ton of giants, but Cazilor doesn't know about any of them other than the one.
Correct.
Because I wasn't known for killing giants. I was known for kidnapping people. So
right.
But there's a reason I knew how to kill that one giant, and it's because I ferry these people through places where giants are gonna be. So
right.
I should be prepped to take one out.
A scuffle here and there for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. Where were we? We were sneaking up.
I had successfully snuck over to the...
You are all the way at the far side. You hear the giants talking. You speak giant, so does Vera. Actually, as you're sneaking up, you, for a moment, you look over and see Vera also sneaking as she arrives at the cage. And you see her talking, and she's fucking far away. But as she talks, you hear her voice as if it's right in your ear.
Ooh.
And she goes, "Cage has already been unlocked. I'm ready when you are."
All right. How do I want to do this? All right. So I have the hand axe with the rope. I have the 3 bags of explosives. I have the corpse of the fairy.
Yep.
And I'm at the farthest point from the giants who I can see and hear in front of me.
Yes.
Got it. All right. So here's how this goes. I get up on top of this tent from behind it. I kind of use one of the pieces of fabric that I had coming off of the cape and stuff it into one of the explosive bags, tie it to a second one, and put that one off to the side.
Yeah.
I take the third one and I stuff it in the mouth of the dead fairy.
Nice.
And I throw the corpse of the dead fairy to the fire that the giants are around, and then light the fuse of the one next to me and drop it into the tent under me. And I'm going to stand back from like the front of the tent because I'm trying to drop it to make a more explosive moment, I would say.
So you're dropping the 2 of these satchels down in front of the tent.
Yes.
You're throwing one of the satchels in the corpse of a fairy towards a bonfire.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want these to go off at the same time? Or do you want...
No, I want the bonfire to go off first. I am throwing that to get their attention. The second thing, it's essentially throwing a flashbang into a room and then firing 2 shots up in the air once they know that something is happening. Like...
Got it.
I'm blowing something up so they immediately become panicked, and then I'm blowing up the other tent to let them know, hey, look over here.
Right. So the giants, now that you're closer, you can see that they're playing like some sort of game at this table. They're all sat around this table. There is a bonfire behind them that's kind of lighting the table and heating their bodies, as it's a little chilly tonight. And then behind the bonfire is you. So you throw this fairy. Immediately on impact, an explosion, probably a little bit bigger than you're expecting from such a small amount of powder, tears the bonfire asunder, and fiery logs fly in every direction. And all the giants like, what the hell? And turn around, and you have their attention. And they see you in the blaze of everything, and then your second explosion goes off. And dirt flies everywhere, a huge crater in the ground. And the giants start yelling, what the fuck? Is that a human? And start pulling out their weapons.
Have you ever seen, anybody in this chat seen Dune 2 yet? There's this scene where Paul's walking out of the dust storm as all of the Baron's men start getting murdered.
Yeah.
Just walking towards them. That's what they see as the dust starts to settle from the second explosion, is this giant fucking crater where their tent used to be. There are flaming logs everywhere, setting everything else on fire. And then out of the middle of it, there is a single guy holding a single axe with a blood red rope attached to the end of it. And he's walking directly at the three giants to get their attention.
And we cut away. Back to Interrogation Squad. Is there anything you guys actually still want to do?
Once that kid comes through the portal and Splat checks him out, all I'm going to do is like immediately direct him to get behind Ari so that he's behind someone who's like ready to go. But Baina at this point, like we've interrogated, we've gotten the information, and our hostage is still alive. So
yeah,
I think if things like take a suspicious amount of time, then there might be something else, but no, not really.
What are you ordering RG and Ari to be doing right now with themselves? Now that the interrogation is sort of over.
Ari, at least, I still have overwatching the port, like, because we don't know again what's going to come out and the logic. Honestly, I'm probably going to join her. We're just there, ready, anchoring arrows to go. If a giant or fairy comes out, they're going to be tied up instantly, so we have a second to go. RG, I don't really. I mean, if RG wants to also kind of join us on watch, but that's got to be sort of at a distance. Actually, you know what I would probably have doing, and I don't like. This is just more of a lore thing that isn't really necessary to go through because we'll get all this information from Jeremiah and Vera regardless. But I think reasonably, I would have RG talk to the kid, make sure he's okay, and get the kid's side of the story, and have add that to the account that we got from the fairy. But again, like. In show terms, there's no reason for us to go through that since we already know.
Yeah, I do think.
Actually, can we roleplay RG talking to that kid? Because I want to. That fucking kid immediately going out of that portal went through it, and I want RG's reaction to that.
Sure. So. Yeah, we can do that. So you walk over to Splat and Spud and this kid. You now kind of see why they give witches dogs, because. Kids, it really helps with the kids. Maybe that's not why, but it definitely helps to have a vine hound here. The kid looks a little shaken up, but you're really seeing Splat at work here. He's so charismatic. He's taking care of the kid. He's getting his mind off things. Currently, they're talking about their favorite sports. And they're not even talking about what's going on right now.
Is this a bad time? Sort of.
No, what's up, man?
Well, again, if it's a bad time, but I'd love to ask what happened on the other side of that portal, if you're able.
Oh, yeah. I went through. I mean, there's not much to tell. I went through, and I was in a different place. I was in a cave. And the fairy that took me was really weak. And once he got wet, I was able to kind of slip free. And, well, it wasn't long till you guys showed up. I had my back against the wall and had a rock. I don't know if it would have done anything, but... one of your guys swooped in and killed the fairy and sent me back.
Oh. Did you see the... Did you see the fairy die?
Oh, yeah. I did.
And would you say there are mental health resources in your town? A therapist, a priest you really trust?
Yeah.
Somewhere to put that baggage?
Yeah. I mean, I go hunting with my dad a lot, so it's not the first time I've seen something die.
Okay.
That's
good.
Yeah, it's, I mean, we all bleed the same, so if anything, I was happy to see it.
Like in a national pride way, or like the immediate danger is dying kind of way.
Is it wrong to be both?
I guess that's war, huh?
Baina's gonna call over from the other side and be like, the boy was just kidnapped, RG. Give him a moment.
Right, sorry. I guess I'm philosophizing. I also kind of had a day.
The boy kind of goes...
Is there anything... Oh, go ahead.
The boy kind of goes, and he's like 9.
Yeah.
The boy kind of gives you almost like a cold stare. And he goes, if those things, from what I gather, those things are what have been taking the people from our town, right?
They are.
And as far as I'm concerned, they all can die.
Yep. Fair reaction, fair response, fair perspective that I and my family have no immediate part in, so that's great. Enjoy being 9 and having this very normal 9-year-old experience. Is there anything I can get you to, like, help?
No, it's okay. Thank you, though.
Okay.
And Spot goes, thanks, RG. Appreciate that pep talk. Anyways, kid, we were talking about handball. And we sort of cut away from that scene. As you all kind of wait, sure enough, people start coming through. An older gentleman, a woman, a young girl. People just one after the other coming through. They're all using the same chain that Jeremiah left to kind of pull themselves through this whirlpool. You have no idea that more people were going to be coming, but they are, and they're all injured. And so Splat suddenly has a lot more work on his hand, and he goes, oh, shit. RG, you're not doing anything. Could you set up more beds for me? Just tarps, and you can use grass to make some pillows.
Yes, please. Something to do. Not interacting with people. Not letting them know my mental state. Yep. Making beds.
Thanks. And he starts tending to everybody. You see, like, a lot of it involves, like, his staff. He'll sort of, like, wave it over people as they lay down or touch it to their forehead, and it'll change colors and resonate a certain frequency. And he just... Those combinations don't mean anything to you, but Splat with his training can translate them, and he knows exactly what they all need and starts to get them all fixed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all come through. But Vera does not, and neither does Jeremiah. And we cut back. Jeremiah, how do we want to do this? Because we're not going to be running combat here. That's
fuck no. There are 3 giants. I would die.
I'd love to see one person. Hey, we never did 1 person versus 3 giants when we were playtesting these mechanics. I'd love to see how this goes.
Fuck the hell out of that. Absolutely not. Not even Jeremiah thinks he can take this fight. He set this entirely up as a power play. You want to know what he's doing? he is swinging around with that fucking axe, throwing bombs. He is scooping up as much explosives as he can and throwing them at the flaming logs that are now everywhere and blowing shit up. That is his entire thing. He's trying to scare tactic these guys into thinking there's like 100 soldiers here led by Giantsbane. So he is like, your prisoners are gone. I already blew up 2 of your tents. And now multiple grenades are going off around you at all times. The only thing I'm doing is leading them away from the whirlpool until I can tell everyone's out and until I get like a mystery voice in my head going like, okay, it's time to get the fuck out of here. Like,
I would say you get closed in on, but you don't ever get cornered. You are able to sort of evade and ditch and dodge, and throw these explosives happening everywhere. After we're gonna have to do some kind of series of checks because I'm not just gonna let you be a badass for free.
Of course not.
we're gonna like super simplify you avoiding getting hit by just doing attack rolls versus like dexterity saves, and we're gonna do 3. So first dex save you gotta beat is a 23.
Fuck me, man.
Hey, you're Mr.
Okay.
Hero.
That did not work.
Let's just do all 3. Next one you have to beat. Oof, it's a 25.
Fuck you, Nathan. I can't even roll that high. There's no 21 on this fucking die.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, that's a 10, bud. That's
okay. Third and final one. Okay, this is more reasonable. You just have to beat a 16.
I beat the 16.
You beat the 16.
I'm not... Most of my bones are shattered, but I'm not dead.
Cool. Scary question. How much health do you have?
32, I think.
I sat back down
32.
at the scariest possible time. What happened?
No, you
for 10
didn't.
Seconds I was gone.
This motherfucker, when we're gonna do attack rolls versus your dex save, you need to beat a 25.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So here's what's happening. First, I assume I will grant you this because I'm so kind. That even though you didn't say it, you are raging.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I blew up a grenade in my face. I am. You don't do that, fucking sober insane.
So you are raging. One of these guys is gonna hit you with a warhammer. The other one's gonna hit you with an axe.
Ow. Wouldn't it be cool if I lost a limb in this fight? I can imagine losing a limb by having this guy. I'll wager one of Giantsbane's limbs on this. If that axe does like 15 of my health, I will permanently have him lose a limb.
You might want to bump that up, big dog.
Insane.
I have 32. That's half my health.
Insane thing to say.
Oh, okay. 15 before or after it's halved by rage?
After.
Okay.
If it ends up doing 15 to me.
15 raw damage, like 15, going in.
15 damage actually received. Okay, well let's roll the hammer first. Hammer's gonna be 15 bludgeoning damage halved to 7.
7.5. Alright, 7.
We'll round down. Axe. Let's see. This thing would have to, with halved. Actually, don't know if it can do that. I actually don't know if it can do it with halved. Shout out barbarians. Here we go.
I'm too stupid to die.
Too stupid to die. This one does 12 slashing damage.
6.
And then you evade a third attack from a mace that slams into the dirt.
Weave. Is that all you fucking got?
And
I say
through this chaos. So yeah, You are throwing grenades, you're bobbing and weaving. Weapons flying all over the place. You're jumping, ducking, dodging, and diving. Drive-ins and diners. And eventually you hear, as if they're right in your ear, Vera goes, "Civilians are safe, get out of there."
Got it. Second I hear that, I whip up the hand axe, go right towards the portal, but as I'm going, I pick up one of the flaming logs as I am running towards the whirlpool.
The giants will chase you, so you're being chased.
Yep.
You run all the way into the cave. Vera has set up the barrels around the whirlpool.
Good. Before we even get into the whirlpool, I have thrown the log at the barrels. I know that it is an instant hit sort of thing. I throw it ahead of us because we need to jump into an active explosion or these guys are gonna get our ass.
Yeah, you run into this cave. It's only lit by the blue light of the whirlpool. You see it ahead of you. The giants completely fill in. They have to enter one at a time as they shove into this cave. They're like, get them, they're gonna get away. They let the fucking civilians go. And they all run in. You run towards the whirlpool. You throw the log. It hits a barrel. You both dive for the whirlpool. And an explosion of biblical levels happens in this cave. Oh my god. Dexterity saving throw, DC 20. And Vera has to make this too.
No, that's a 10.
Vera also fails. How many barrels did you put by this whirlpool? Let's be real.
Yes.
Oh, if your corpses fly out of this whirlpool.
No, I'm gonna be so real. Jeremiah saw this and went, "Yeah, it's worth it." Yes. How many barrels were close enough to put by the whirlpool is the better question.
Got it. Okay. So
I left Vera alone while I went off to do stupid shit. She had plenty of time. There's a lot over there, I'm assuming.
That is true. There is quite a few. Another question. What is your health at? And
19.
What is your max health?
32.
32. So, 18 plus 32. Got to do some quick math here. If you receive enough damage, you immediately die.
I'm going to immediately die.
We're doing this.
You immediately die.
That makes
no
sense.
Death saves.
Also, dear Lord.
Yep.
Nothing. You are dead.
Negative. If I get hit with enough for negative 50, which, mind everybody, would be 69 damage.
No, 50 damage, right?
50
Not negative 50.
Oh,
50 damage takes you to inverse
if you
health.
get hit with 50 damage.
Oh, inverse health. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're doing
50, I'm
the
fucked.
for those who don't necessarily know this rule, we're doing the ruling of if you get down to negative what your max health is, it's an instant death.
It's an instant death.
I don't know. I think it's more of a Pathfinder rule, but I like it, so.
I got smacked around a couple of times before this happened. I'm probably going to be a corpse out the other end of this that Splat's going to have to revive.
And I need you to check your sheet for me. Does being raged have fire damage?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. I think it's just bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. I believe it's physical.
Yeah, resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. That's it.
Oh, boy.
Your rage ends early if you are knocked unconscious or if your turn ends and haven't attacked a hostile creature since your last turn or taken damage since then. So, yeah, no. This bomb might just kill me.
Got it. So,
bang!
We're gonna use there's no fucking nuclear explosion in D&D 5e, so we're gonna use lava, which is a similar amount. I'm getting various numbers here, some of which are absolutely ridiculous.
So just to be clear, this explosion is so big that mechanically we are treating it like the air is literally lava.
Correct.
Oh my god.
Correct indeed.
So I should have probably investigated these explosive barrels a touch more before throwing a flaming log at them. Vera's gonna get out the other side and be like, I thought you said after we got out, you stupid shit.
She was fully gonna wait at the edge, throw it as you fall back. No.
She was ready to just fucking fade it out, man. Like, come on. You gotta
a fucking fade away into saving the
You
world.
gotta do a fadeaway. You're supposed to do a fucking layup, not fucking pitch it. What are you doing?
I need to get more dice. So please talk amongst
Don't
yourselves.
say that.
So depending on what he's rolling.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
I was
like
I'll
if
lose
we're
one for this, you're gonna see a charred corpse come out the other end.
I can't even look up lava mechanics to know because he said he was getting a few.
Can
Oh
you
my god.
imagine just charred bones shoot out of this fucking thing? Just. Oh no.
The real question is Nathan going to edit this out in the final version or leave it in for the drama?
Please.
if we're upward of 10 dice, I think you're fucked. Just like probability wise.
Yeah, just-
He had to leave. He had to leave the table. When's the last
He
time
left
you
twice.
saw Nathan
He left
leave
twice.
the table?
Did you see him? He walked in frame for a second and then left again.
Nathan has never left the table for dice ever. The fact he needed to leave twice is terrifying.
Okay, so the number that I'm going for that I saw online is 6d10 fire damage.
Okay.
Okay, that's okay.
6d10, better than I thought it was good. Statistically, not the most likely.
I mean, I can up it if you want dramatics. But
I said not the
okay.
most likely. That's all I said.
I still only need to get to negative 32.
I mean, you're almost definitely gonna go unconscious.
Yeah, unconscious body is
definitely.
gonna fly through that wormhole for sure.
60-10.
But we have split.
It is
for that.
possible to roll 50 damage here. So here we go.
Here we go. Let's see.
How long did it take your players to set off a nuke?
You know, this is a sort of honorary gob force because Panda's characters. So you can
Gone. Panda's dying.
Okay.
get ready for Johnny Cazilor, baby. Character number 2.
What's up? I'm Johnny Madness. Oh, God.
All right. What are these rolls?
Who?
9.
Bad start.
That's a bad start.
18.
Another 9?
Oh, that's not good. First of all, 18, I'm already... This is 2 dice in him, 1 hit point. That is not good.
Right.
26.
That's still bad. Fuck.
32.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
There's none of these have been below 5.
34.
Okay.
35.
There we go.
35.
Okay.
All right.
35 fire damage.
Jesus, that was tight for the first. No, had us in the first half. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, 9, 9, 8, 4, 2, 1.
Thank fucking God.
That
Alright.
was.
So, what did I say? 35? 35 fire
35.
damage. You are fully unconscious as you both dive into this whirlpool. Vera has to grab your body as you go and fall in, cutting back to the other side. The whirlpool goes from blue light to orange light as Vera and Jeremiah in a geyser fly out in a ball of fire out from this portal and land 30 feet away. Just
This is the second time I've been thrown in the last couple of hours.
all part. Hey, best job in the world.
Best job in the world.
You weren't conscious for this one, so it barely even counts.
Definitely. I ragdolled. It saved some bones.
And as that happens, we're gonna take our break. Hello, we are back. Thank you for sticking with us. Hey, if you made it this far in not only the episode, but the series, we greatly appreciate that. Now is a great time to remind you, even though you probably already know, that we do an after show that's Patreon exclusive. We record it right after these. We record them offline. And worth noting, okay, we have 270 paid members, which is the most we've ever had. And we also have 130 free members. And just in the last month, I think I read 36 free members have upgraded to paid and haven't switched back. So everyone who has enjoys their time. So if you're one of those 130 free members, everything you do gets put right back into the show so we can keep doing good production and keep getting good character art and all that stuff, and we would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as always, we have a few extra announcements this week. Not as always.
Yes.
Cazilor,
as always, we've been nominated for a great many awards.
Cazilor merch is available. That's as always. What's new is, as of today, we have officially been announced that we've been nominated for an award. There is something called the Crit Awards. It is a relatively new award show based around TTRPG. And the D&Dorks has been nominated for, I believe it's Best Upcoming YouTube Channel.
Yes, should be up and coming, but I think it says
up and coming YouTube channel. And
Yeah.
not only that, but also your boy has been nominated for the lengthiest award that I can think of, which is Best Lyrical Song by an Artist in the TTRPG space for Summer Night in Demeter from Tales from Cazilor, the album that sprouted this whole thing. So if you like us, you should go vote for us, because I think we stand to win it all. Everything that we can.
We do have a good shot. For where you can vote, if you're in the Twitch stream, it's been in the links in the chat going through regularly. If you're watching this on Patreon, we have the link to vote pinned in the announcement section on the Patreon Discord. That'll be the easiest way to find that. And then if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm sure we'll put the link in the description.
Yes,
so just go
I'll
down
make
there
sure
and
the
you'll
link
find
is
an
in the
easy voting link there. And that will be going forward until voting closes, which is like mid-July.
Yeah. So please go consider voting for us so we can be an award-winning D&D show. And so Tales from Cazilor can be an award-winning album, and I can be an award-winning artist. And everyone can win an award.
Woo!
Award for everyone.
Awards for everybody.
Except other people in our category, because that's going to go to us.
Because that's going to go... Sorry. That's going to go to us.
Ours.
Also, one thing I totally forgot to show last week... I made a crest for the headliners.
Oh, what?
Which I will now show. So you guys could have put this on like a pauldron or like shoulder armor that you have, or worn this as like a patch.
Hey!
But as you went into this battle, as you went into Lone Shire, all of you most definitely had this crest visible on your person, so the enemy knows who they're messing with.
Hell
Hell yeah.
Oh, I love the dual meaning thing we landed on. That's so cool.
I love it.
And with that, Jeremiah and Vera just exploded out of a whirlpool. We're going to cut to the next day. It is, in all senses of the word, a recovery day. Matt, or rather Baina, you would have been expected to, as soon as possible, send a report of the events to the Warlord Assembly. I assume you did that as soon as possible. I assume also that you didn't withhold anything.
Nope.
Great. So you do that. Also during this time, Su Young took a story to the local daily script printing press. There's one in every town. To get his story sent out to the nation and get printed. Notably, he opted to leave out any mention of portals, pending RG's discovery that they're so rare and so hard to actually use. Telling people that giants could show up anywhere, probably not a good idea.
Probably fair, yeah.
Don't really want mass panic. And so he opted to leave that out for the good of the people. And what everyone's most wondering, Jeremiah, you come to you. So you remember, you were diving towards a whirlpool, and now you're waking up to the smell of coffee. And I am going to roll a d4. Jeremiah has 4 limbs. We will say that the right hand is 1, the left hand is 2, the right leg is 3, and the left leg is 4. And we're going to see which one got blown off in your little escapade. Here we go. Jeremiah, you wake up.
Awesome.
How do you feel, dude?
Disoriented. Because I'm assuming, like, mental perception of time wise, right? That I am running, toss, but, and then I'm in a hospital. Like, loudest sound I've ever heard, bright flash, hospital.
Yes. Running, the
up,
sun, hospital. That's essentially
and
what happened.
Now I can, like, smell coffee and it's quiet. And I'm like, I like Jason Voorhees lean up, like, in the bed, just pop up, just.
Whoa, hey, buddy. Hey. Splat walks up. Hey, whoa, calm down. You okay? You caused a massive explosion. It was pretty epic. You got a little banged up. But we're good now. We won. All the civilians saved, thanks to you and Highblade Vera.
I'm going to look down at myself at that moment when after, because he's still a little shell-shocked. After you got a little banged up, what does a little banged up look like?
So you're under a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
You have...
Can I see feet? Plural?
You wiggle your toes, and you just see one. And your right leg is missing.
Splat.
Yeah, man.
What counts as a lot of banged up?
Dead.
Did it come through with me? Did you take it off of me?
Oh no, it never made it out.
Oh.
Yeah. You kind of came out like a meteor, and it already was gone. So well, I guess the Atrarians got that one. Not that there's probably much left of them.
I mean, that's 3 on record now, right?
Yeah.
4 on record now, right?
Well, Vera made sure of it. Vera said that you would get the kills for those. She doesn't need them for her record. It's more important for you as a new guy. You got 3. Lexi has 1.
I am kind of feeling at the stump of where is my leg blown off?
That is an excellent question.
Am I working with, like, below the knee? Is it like half of my thigh? What am I working with here?
I feel like a leg is weakest at the joint. So it's probably like you still got your thigh. But
right,
the blown off the calf and the foot.
Gotcha. All right. So I am gotcha. I can work with that.
And Splat kind of, he pulls back the covers so you can get a look at it. And he's like, yeah, it's not ideal, that's for sure. But thankfully, I was able to make some quick work. And I mean, with the amount of blood you were losing, you easily could have lost the whole thing. But
it doesn't hurt. Why doesn't it? Why is there no pain? How long was I out? Is this healed? Tell me this isn't healed.
I'm a witch, so I'm not gonna let you hurt, homie. But no, it's just the next day. It's I'll say it's not fully healed. We took the liberty of you being unconscious to do a little bit of cleanup, and by that I mean cutting off excess flesh and cauterizing. So.
Great. Well, at least I don't have any bone fragments left in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's good. As far as injuries go, it could have been a lot worse. Vera shielded a lot of the blast.
Yes. How is Highblade Vera doing?
She's fine. She's totally fine. She's a little burned, got some burns, much like you, and you kind of look at your arms and there's...
Yeah. I'm all scarred now, I'm assuming.
She's a little bit burned, but she's way better than you were.
Yeah, she seems like a tougher cookie than I am.
But you made it.
Okay.
And you saved a lot of lives.
Where are the hostages? Are they in trauma centers? Are they just brought back to their houses? Where are the
We brought them back
hostages?
to their families. They're spending the time indoors. They have there's a local unit here, Asmus unit, that's been tasked with making sure, just keeping an eye on them, making sure that they're all right. And they are. Okay. They will be all right.
Are we mobilizing?
No, we're waiting to hear back from the Warlord Assembly. Captain Baina sent out a report this morning before day even broke. Should probably get a response by evening. So we're just on recovery until then.
Do I have a crutch?
Yeah, I can get you a crutch. And he heads out to get you a crutch.
Got it.
What is everybody else doing today? It's the middle of the day.
I'm just going to say this. Other than maybe someone very briefly seeing him, like, hand a report to someone who was going to go deliver it to the assembly, nobody has seen Baina since they got back. He went into somewhere wherever he was staying. He has not left that room.
Got it.
In however many hours.
RG, what about you?
I think RG is at the church. He's sitting in a meditative position at the Path of Wind altar, the place he got kidnapped.
Yes.
And to anyone walking by, he'll say he's praying, but there's a lot more on his mind than that.
Got it. Let's do Captain Baina first. Baina, wherever you are, probably in your room at the tavern or something, somewhere secluded. At a certain point, you hear a knock.
First time whoever knocks, he's going to ignore it. He's doing something.
You hear another knock.
Come in. Does not turn around from whatever he's doing, but...
The door creaks open. And you hear the voice of Highblade Vera, looking a little banged up. She's also got a crutch, although she has all her limbs. She's just got a little bit of a limp. Maybe pulled something along the way. And she enters in. She goes, "How are you faring, Captain?"
Inside this room, Baina is very dedicated to the thing that he is working on. As part of my artificer mechanics, I can have basically any tools that I need because I can make them magically.
Got it.
Also, Amphis has a thing called repair where he can restore health to objects. So I'm imagining, like, this is a very niche cut, but like Victor from League of Legends, the game specifically, he's got Amphis wound around, and then he has like the sort of robot arm, and Amphis is like basically like a welder. Like, he's tinkering with something, and then every now and then Amphis shoots this little beam that welds stuff together with the repair mechanic. It's very clear he has not slept at all. To give a little insight, this is probably somewhat obvious at this point. Bana has very severe PTSD. This is the first time he's seen combat in years. The thing that he is now working on has given him an excuse to not think about what just happened, so he has fully thrown everything into it. And if Vera looks over, he has taken wood from the surrounding area and a bunch of crystals that he had, and he is trying his best to make a prosthetic for Jeremiah. He does not again turn to look at her. Even Amphis doesn't. All his energy is focused on this thing.
Vera kind of shambles up and goes, I see. Not well.
Oh, it's going well, actually. Thank you.
No, I meant you, Captain.
He doesn't respond to that.
The mission was a great success, all things considered, you know. Only one casualty.
Yes, only one. Can you pass me that that crystal over there on that shelf, the green one?
Sure. And she kind of reaches over a little strenuously and hands it to you.
He takes it, keeps working.
Well, if you need not want to think about your emotions, I won't force it upon you. Although you would know from your training, it's good to process that, especially in moments away from your team. But you've heard it all before, so I'll just cut to the chase, as I am exhausted. I got blown up about 6 hours ago. There's something you should know that I perhaps should have told you before we got here. But it was classified, and I am making the executive decision as a High Blade to declassify it for you. What was going on here in Loneshire, we had reason to believe was already part of some Atrarian scheme, thanks to intel from Forget-Me-Not. We've been hearing that something big is in the works. We don't know what. But we know that it requires the souls of blessed individuals. Better yet, if they're gifted. We
that's going to make him stop work. He doesn't turn around, but like his hands just stop moving at that. Can you say that one more time?
Yes, it requires the souls of blessed or gifted.
How many operations like this one had you seen before this case?
Well, we had seen a rise in missing persons throughout, but mostly on the eastern side of Cazilor, close to the border. But nothing that could have definitely been something, you know? People go missing all the time. It seems in this particular case, people were careless. My best guess would be the Atrarians wanted to use the portal as much and as fast as they could, and then once it disappeared, there would be no evidence of them ever being here. Unfortunately for them, the portal stayed around for enough time for us to catch a trail. So I couldn't pinpoint any exact instance of these things happening, but the intel that we got matched with disappearances. And then this was the first instance where we had seen disappearances on a mass scale. We had no proof to connect the two, but after what you told me about your interrogation and what we saw, I'm almost certain they are connected.
Given that we know distance is no longer a limiting factor, I agree with that analysis. Do we have any theories on how we could track these portals, their appearances, even active instances?
I'm sure the Warlord Assembly will put their best on it. We haven't received word back from them, I assume, yet, but I can almost confidently say that they'll want us to report in person. They'll probably send reinforcements in preparation for a potential retaliatory strike, and we'll be on our way to deliver and discuss the ramifications of this mission.
That fairy hostage, are they still alive? What happened to them?
I believe so, yeah. They're in containment.
Good. That'll lend more credence to anything we say. I suppose a path is clear before us then. I wish it was a bit faster productivity-wise, but
Yes.
information was gained, and that's all we can do. His hands start moving again on the project.
Indeed. Vera kind of stands up. And as she leaves, she goes, "You know, Captain, this mission could very well mark the end of peacetime. Especially if it's caught wind, and it will catch wind, that we killed, what was the count? 2 cads, assumed scientist, and a knight. I don't think Atraria will let that go easily."
It was going to end sooner or later.
This is true.
Suppose now is as bad a time as any.
One last thing. If the Warlord Assembly asks you whose idea it was to attack, tell them it was mine.
I assume that that's not entire truth.
Not entire truth, but there's a chance you could be reprimanded otherwise.
Of course, it was obviously your idea to attack. That's the only logical conclusion.
I am the highest ranking officer on this squad. Try your best to process everything, not just the information of it all, Captain. And she shambles away.
He pauses for another minute. Actually, probably a good 2 minutes of just sitting there, unmoving entirely. And then he gets back to work.
RG. I think... Yeah, what? No, you go ahead. If you got something, go.
I just said he was meditating, and specifically, I think he's fixated first on kind of where the terrible time started, which was getting sedated by the fairies.
Yes.
And I kind of wanted to ask retroactively, if I need to make a check for this, that's okay, but how similar did it feel to the time I was sedated with Jeremiah and his crew?
Give me a medicine check. It's got a weird check. Doesn't happen very often.
Oh, I don't know what my bonus is, but it's not gonna be high enough to make this anything. Oh, that's a 2.
Damn.
Wow.
So as far as similarity, the sensation of being forced to pass out was similar. I would say the fairy one was less sort of like... Jeremiah's felt like you were dreaming. The fairy one knocked you out. The fairy one you knew was like, I was awake, then I got knocked out. Jeremiah's was almost like a hallucinogen, where you're like, what was I doing? That was a weird dream. So they were different. But the sensation was similar of being drugged. An unpleasant sensation.
Okay. Then RG's turning that in his mind because between that and learning that part of the plot was kidnapping blessed people, RG is kind of going down a conspiratorial thinking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And is trying to clear his head as best he can in the church.
Very silently, Ari approaches behind you and takes a seat next to you in the prayer room for the Path of Wind. The wind chimes are blowing. You can see the trees blowing as well. It's very peaceful. And she doesn't say anything. She just sits there with you.
How are you holding up?
Better than you, probably. How you feel?
I didn't even think about the kid that went through the portal. I was so wrapped up in what I had gone through that night, in my fear and cowardice, that I didn't even think about the kid. I talked to him and I couldn't even comfort him. I was the babbling child and he was talking about conviction and being happy they died, and I don't know if I'm built for this, Ari. I couldn't even think about the kid. I couldn't even be the good person on the line.
RG.
I was baked.
Listen. It was not your job to think about the kid. That's why we're a team. In this particular mission, your job was to be bait. That's one of the most noble things you could have been. And you did your job great.
I just thought that after all of our training and conditioning and the shit we went through growing up, that I wouldn't feel this way when we were in action. That I'd grow past it. Am I supposed to? Am I doing this wrong? I mean, you barely seem flustered by anything.
Ari looks at you. And there is not a hint of light in her eyes. And she goes, I think how you feel is perfectly normal, RG. Sometimes I wish I could be a little more empathetic like you. It's what makes you strong. It doesn't make you weak. This emotion you're feeling should be a fire inside you. I can see it. We saved so many people. We killed 4 giants as a team on our first mission. That's unheard of. By all standards, we overperformed.
Well, I'm glad I'll still look fine on the stat sheet, you know? As long as it doesn't look bad on the record, it's fine. I guess.
I was never good at comforting you. And I'm sorry about that.
But...
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming in here. I don't know, I feel shitty. I kind of want to be shitty back.
I get it. Well, and she stands up. If you find the time...
Wait.
Yeah.
You know... tryouts?
Yeah.
You remember talking to Jeremiah earlier that day, right?
Yeah, he had hair, but yeah.
He pulled me aside. And he tried to bring me over.
Really?
I went to his meeting, and I was never going to go.
Of course.
But then I was put under, and it wasn't just drugging, because I have recently been drugged. It was like it was a dream. I don't know what Jeremiah did, or how he got that. But he obviously wasn't working alone.
Yeah.
Or his group wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going kind of down a conspiratorial thinking rabbit hole, but
I know. As much as Jeremiah is a total dick, I don't really take him for an Atrarian spy, I'll be honest.
No, not the Atrarians. Not the Atrarians. I wonder who else knew about what Jeremiah was doing on our side. Something to keep in mind, something to keep you busy. You know, little mystery helps all the stress and stakes and horrors gotta go to the background.
I got a question for you in return, actually.
Hmm?
You said you turned down his offer, right? Back at the tryouts?
I did?
If I wasn't in the picture, and Grandpa wasn't in the picture, would you have still said no?
I don't know that I would have been in the arena in the first place.
I don't know if I would have either. When you got the time...
RG's eyes kind of light up at that, because that is a level of vulnerability that has never been shown by Ari.
Yeah. Ari kind of goes, but there is one thing I do know. I am proud to be a knight. If you find the time, take a walk outside. Go talk to the families of the people we saved. And I bet you'll feel a little bit better about why we do what we do. It's the best job in the world. And she leaves.
RG's gonna meditate a while more, but at some point he will probably try doing that.
And you do see it. Almost opposing Ari's eyes, every single family that talks to you when they find out that you were part of the squad that did the operation that saved their loved one, shower you with thanks and joy and love completely. Some people completely break down because they didn't know what they would do without this person, and you helped save them. And it's almost awkward, because how are you supposed to receive such high praise for something you don't even feel that proud of? But it's there, and you undoubtedly changed the lives of dozens of people, of this whole town.
Puts things into perspective. I don't think it fixes it, but RG's morale gets a little boost from that, definitely.
And unless anybody has anything else they want to do,
I have a question.
Okay, here we go.
Mine is a mechanics thing, so I'll run through mine quick. So I've been looking at. I have been doing exactly what Bane has been doing for the last several hours, and I've been looking at what stuff he has available. I know I'm springing this on you impromptu, so feel free to shut me down here, but Bana in character, especially since he's actively using this as a distraction from trauma, would be like trying to do something complicated. I specifically have an Artificer Infusion, like a thing that I can mechanically make called Rod of Collapsing, which is basically like a 1-foot rod that you push a button on it and it extends out into like a 10-foot pole for things. Could I modify that and basically make like a leg that has like a piston kickoff in it that gives Jeremiah like a +1 to mounting attacks because he can use it like a jump?
We will get into the mechanics of what you are able to make for Jeremiah later.
Fair enough.
Episodes.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to say yes or no to any bullshit that your artificer ass is going to try to get up to.
I need to give it to him, and we can come up with the specifics later.
Yes, but you can absolutely make a working prosthetic that is within your intelligence bounds, and we can figure out what it does later.
Cool. Did you have something you wanted to do first, Panda, and then?
Yeah, I had a moment that I wanted.
Yeah, you do that, and then I'll give you the thing.
So, I'm assuming against Splat's protests, I'm up and walking.
Yeah, for sure.
Almost immediately.
Dude,
we had that
really
one conversation. I asked I asked for the crutch, and I'm immediately out and walking. My second question after do I have a crutch is where is my axe?
It's probably all your stuff. You've been changed into not burned clothes, so you're not wearing your Masmus gear right now. You're just wearing like civilian clothes that somebody loaned. Your stuff is probably all at your bedside, so like your axes, your clothes.
Got it. I mean, like the one with the chain, the one that people were using to get out.
Yeah, it's at your bedside.
That one? Okay. I grabbed the crutch and I am on the road. I am walking through town right now.
Got it.
And specifically, I want to go to that kid's house, the kid who got lost.
Yeah.
So I hobble my way over there, still trying to figure out how to use a crutch, missing 5 pounds off the bottom of my body.
Yeah.
I make it to the door, and I knock on the door. And I'm not like holding the thing. I have it like tucked in my belt. Obviously, I'm not just gonna walk up with a fucking weapon and a crutch and be like, "Open the door!" I walk up and I knock on the door.
And I'm sure I gave this kid a family before. I don't remember who it was. So if they're entirely different, forget about it.
Was it not the kids of like the town leaders? I think it was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the door becomes opened, and Lee Xander, the mayor of the town, opens the door with his husband that you saved that night.
Thank God he got out.
Feldrick Xander opened the door, and Lee Xander goes, "Ah, Knight Stokes, hello."
Hello. Good morning, Mayor. Good morning. I just wanted to stop in and check how everybody is doing after yesterday.
Well, we're doing much better thanks to you. And he calls out, and he goes, "Orson, come in here." And the little kid, his name is Orson, walks up, and he goes, "You're back!" And he tackles you in a hug that fully knocks you prone. That doesn't...
Yep. I have one leg. That... Yep. Got it. Boom.
And both Mr. and Mr. Xander go, "Oh, Orson, no, he's injured. Don't."
It's all right. It's all right. I'm still getting used to it, too. How you holding up, kid? Looks like you're doing good, hero.
I'm doing great, thanks to you. And so is my dad. And Feldrick goes, "Yes, I was one of the ones you pulled out of the cages."
I want to point this out to the audience. The version that this kid mentally has of me is essentially Captain America, just like the coolest soldier who came in and saved his dad. The view that his dad has of me is of a demon walking through an explosion, walking towards 3 giants, having just blown up a cave. Yeah. 2 very different vibes. I couldn't ignore the humor in that. Anyway, I'm like, oh no, you 2 got out on your own. I just assisted where I could. That's actually why I'm here. I have something for you. And I kind of lean back and I go, "Now, you need to promise to be careful. But you can't use this just for fun. This is not a toy."
Okay. I promise to be careful.
I take out my personal axe, the one with the chain, which I would like to point out to people is not the one I have been given by the Masmus. It is the one that I have actually custom made for myself with the chain and the special grip and the special blade and everything. He takes that out and goes, "This is very special to me. This has always been my axe.
Whoa.
This is the axe that you were able to climb out on. This is the axe that you were able to save your own life with your own strength. And I hand it over to him, and I put it in his hand, and that's when you can see it's not the same wood that the normal axes are made of. This is like carved bone with special leather wrapping and the custom made chain and everything. This looks like an axe, like a normal axe from a distance, but is very specifically made. And he goes, I want you to remember, when you look back on this day, when you look back on what was able to be achieved and who got out, it was not the Masmus that saved your family. It was people doing what was right. It was people saving people. You saving you. Your dad saving the other hostages. At the end of the day, we were not in there because we were Masmus. We were there because we are people. And it is a person's responsibility to do the right thing. And sometimes a weapon is just another tool. And I give him the original axe.
This kid is speechless. And Lee Xander just kind of goes, wow, look at that, bud. That's a real climbing axe. And the kid's just like, thank you. I'll never forget that. Thank you. What's your name?
You just remember the axe. My name is not important.
Okay. You got it.
And kid.
Yeah.
You don't need to look up to heroes. Be a hero. That's the difference. Okay?
Okay. And I will.
Okay. And Jeremiah does the Masmus salute to him.
And he gives it right back. The strongest, most crisp salute you've ever seen.
I do, just for the sake of comedy, I do take his parents aside later and go, okay, that is incredibly sharp.
Yes, no, we will make sure he's incredibly
multiple giants.
Yes.
You know,
thank you for the gift. Supervision only for that one.
Do not tell anybody you have that. I will get in so much trouble.
Understood. Thank you again. And Lee Xander said, thank you for saving my entire family.
Like I told Orson, I didn't save anybody. And I start hobbling my way back to the infirmary because I am still in a significant amount of pain.
Yes.
I am still missing a leg.
Correct.
I don't think you're going to get back to the infirmary. Can we say passes the place where Baina's been working?
Sure.
Yeah, so
I'm hobbling through town right now.
As you're hobbling back, you hear out of just a building next to you, the very tired voice of Baina speaking in like such a serious tone that for a second it almost sounds like you're somehow in trouble. You say, Jeremiah, good passing by. Come here, we need to talk for a moment.
Yep, let me just...
Baina holds the door open for you.
Turning.
And he's like standing in front of the desk so you can't see what's on it, but his eyes drift down to your leg or lack thereof and then back up and goes, how does it feel?
You know, oddly breezy. I didn't think that they were just going to chop the end off of a pair of pants. I thought they would have at least tied it, but apparently Splat wanted access to the wound, so...
That's actually quite fitting. Here, don't tie anything. And then just super nonchalantly, he's going to turn around, not even acknowledging it, just pick the leg off the table, walk over, like kneel down and start checking the fit of it.
What is... Did you have... Wait, what is that?
I bring tools with me on all my operations. Hold this still for a moment.
Do you also bring legs?
Well, there was wood. We're in a forest, Jeremiah.
You carved it? It's been a day. I just woke up.
Well, I wasn't going to sleep anyway. There was a report to write. Seems I've fit correctly, which is good. This might feel slightly uncomfortable for a moment, but with the crystals...
What's going to feel slightly uncomfortable for a moment?
Synchronize for a moment, and then he, like, tightens the strap really abruptly around your thigh.
Shit!
Yes, sorry, there are some crystals under that. Those probably stung for a second, but...
Definitely!
It's going to synchronize. As he tightens it, there's like a little wave of light that goes through down the various crystals around. I have been considering some upgrade modifications we can use for increased performance, but we can discuss those later. This should fit the bare minimum requirements. How is that? Stands back up.
Can I feel this? Like...
That's kind of more of a lore question, especially how much I would be able to make in a night.
I don't think you can feel it. I think I think it's very good, but I think... Yeah.
I would also say, just personality-wise, the feeling would not be what Bana prioritized. He's going to prioritize the function over, like, the comfort of it. So it's definitely... That wasn't something he would have been working on.
I don't know what the magic extends to in this, where I'm like, can I feel the bottom of this wooden foot?
Yeah.
Or... am I now, like, essentially mentally puppeteering a leg at the end of my...
under, like, the knee, it's basically just, like, stick and then an ankle joint you can control, and that's about it.
All right, so it's kind of a knee joint, an ankle joint, and a stick with the foot.
Yeah, with a little... something of that nature.
Gotcha. How did... It's been hours. You had other things to...
He, again, clearly has not slept, just kind of waves his hand. The report only took an hour or two.
He is going to, like... He's kind of rubbing out the tightened leg.
Yeah.
The hastily attached leg now. And immediately, because what else do I have to lose? Immediately stands up. Like, immediately at least tries to stand up. And see if it just works. Instantaneously. I've been without a leg for maybe 2 hours. I know having a leg better than not having a leg.
Yeah, it's probably a little wobbly on like the first go, but you know,
it's a little weird walking with essentially no feeling in one foot. But but you know, it's It's fairly successful.
It's established that Bana's good at making mobile crystal things. That's in one way or another what most of his tech is about. So
yeah, looking at the leg. Bana, Jeremiah's like, I don't know what... Thank you, Captain.
There's no need to thank me. This is a specialty of mine. You're a member of my squad. This is merely one of my duties.
Well, at the end of the day, as a member of your squad, and as a soldier, my job is to complete the mission by whatever means necessary. I did my job. I paid the sacrifice for my job. You don't need to do this. You didn't need to do this. But you did anyway. Thank you for that. Genuinely.
Bana walks over and tentatively places a hand on the shoulders, notably like opposite the shoulder that the missing leg was to not throw off his balance. And he just pauses for a second and goes, Vera briefed me on everything that happened through that portal. I've known your attitude towards all this for the past several years. I know your motivations, and let me say, not as a member of the Masmus, not as a captain, but as a citizen of this nation who has fought the giants for a long portion of his life. Well done. You've done what you set out to do.
You see a lot of contemplation behind Jeremiah's eyes. Nathan, can I ask for a perception or an insight?
You can insight me. I'm fine with it.
No. I'm putting out signals that you can tell that hit a nerve. That stoked something. Like, that poked at something.
So then Matt can roll an insight, and then
I mean, yeah, if there's
Panda, you determine how much you want to share with him.
If you want to know more, like,
I mean, yeah,
you
I
can
definitely
obviously
do.
see behind his eyes that wasn't as innocuous as you thought it was.
That was only a 7, so I don't know how much I get off of that, but he would definitely be like, looking.
You can tell the words "you have done what you set out to do." I won't say affected him, because it's not like he's like super receptive to that. That sentence, it looks like you just told him the sky is red.
At this point, Baina's not in a like subtle mood. He has been up for he's probably been awake for 36 hours at minimum at this point, and he has been working the whole time. He's just going to I think he's going to assume it to be the wrong thing. So he's going to be like, what? There was a reaction to that. Is everything fine with the prosthetic? What's wrong?
Yes, no, I'm sorry, Captain. The prosthetic is fine. It works very effectively, and I appreciate your accommodations.
Then why the discomfort?
How visible is the wind prayer chamber, Nathan, from where we're at?
From where you're
at? Inside, so probably not.
Well, like if I open the door, like I know the wind chamber is open air.
Yeah, but it's at the back of the church, so
back of the church.
So
okay. All right, never mind then. Captain, if you know as much as you say you do, you know that as long as children are being dragged off into the woods in the dead of night, as long as people are being held in cages for things they cannot control, as long as we have to use one of our own as bait, simply because of an aura that we can't see, I haven't done what I set out to do.
Baina's gaze is going to soften for a moment, I think. And then he's going to look and go, you're right. Perhaps I should rephrase. You haven't finished what you've set out to do, but let me provide some advice from someone who's been in perhaps more of a similar position to you than you think. When you do something that takes you steps towards your goal, as you have certainly done on this mission, don't belittle that. If you always take a look at the wealth of things that you haven't accomplished, everything that you have accomplished might seem like nothing in comparison. Speak from experience, and I haven't slept in 36 hours. You did a good thing, Jeremiah. You have much farther to go. I know that, and I think you won't let yourself forget that, but even though you have farther to go, think about what you've done, if only for a day, a night, a few hours even, and let that fuel you for the next phase of your mission.
Well, Captain, I think that we both need a significant amount of R&R before our next mission. So I am going to start taking steps. Raises up his leg. It creaks because he's making a bad joke and the universe is like that. Because I'm going to start making steps to ensure that next time I don't lose a second limb, and you have to make me a hook arm or something that stabs into my shoulder. And I pick up
into your body. It will be faster the second time. There won't be a second time.
There won't be a second time. Please don't let there be a second time.
If there is, it will be faster. That's all. Then
I pick up the crutch. I pick up the crutch, and I still kind of hobbling because I'm trying to figure out loose knee that I can't feel. Kind of waddle my way out of the office and back across the street.
At some point, Vera will come up to you, Jeremiah, just to check on you. Mm-hmm. She's back to stone cold.
Gotcha.
And she'll have like a small convo with you, just making sure you're good, and be like, "So you survived the blast, like a roach? Unsurprising."
Well, usually when you're trapped under a stone, explosions don't usually tend to hit you.
Oh, is that right? Well, you did good work out there.
As did you, Highblade. I see that the burns were mostly supplemental.
Yes, my back is cooked. Literally. But I'm overall fine.
I don't mean to alarm you, Highblade. I don't think I can feel my ankle.
Very funny. That's Dokes. I'm glad you're taking this all well.
They took my leg well, too. Well done, that is.
And she does chuckle at that. She goes, "Well, we'll just have to get it back with tax."
I killed 3 giants. I think that's tax. That's interest, if anything.
I don't know. I still don't know if you're mass material. You'll have to impress me.
Oh, do you want me to explode the next camp of giants?
It would be nice.
I see. How about next time I use my leg as the explosive? I'll use the good one too.
That's a good idea.
Just for you. You can use those freaky eyes and ghost voice of yours to be able to see me huck it over there.
We'll
use it as bait.
I hope you know that because you've tried your hardest on the very first mission, I will expect that from every mission going forward. So if you don't at least lose a limb per mission, I will assume you're not trying hard enough.
Okay, well, I will see you for 3 more weeks then, until I am rolling into battle on the side of a chariot of some kind. Perhaps you can use my head to prop up a wheel.
That'll be quite the sight to see. And she gives you a little smile and says, "Rest up. We'll probably be traveling soon."
I heard that there's leaves out in the woods that can help with the burns on your back.
I'll be all right. Let's go talk to Splat.
Maybe some magic water.
Speaking of magic water, I forgot to mention the explosion, if it wasn't obvious, did destroy the portal.
Yeah, I assumed. I would hope so.
It did destroy the portal.
Yeah.
That thing was not glowing blue at all by the time you left. It was a puddle, and it turned into normal water. It just looked like it rained really hard.
My personal headcanon is that as it exploded, there was way more blood coming out of that portal than 2 people can conceivably make, because we definitely sandwiched and vaporized 3 giants.
Yeah. And that, I think, so we'll cut a little bit ahead. You got your report back, Baina. Vera was 100% correct. They told you to wait for reinforcements to arrive in preparation for a potential counter-strike or a counterattack on Lone Shire. And once those reinforcements arrive, to head to the Warlord Assembly. It's going to take a couple days for reinforcements, but they get there. And then you all pack up and leave. I think during all this time, Winnie and Lexi have not left each other's side, probably because Winnie is chewing his ear off about how he's never going to do that shit again. He's going to learn how to use a bow, and he is going to live forever. The town gives you a good send-off, and that amount of time was enough time for the Daily Scrits to print their story. The Battle at Lone Shire. So here's how we're going to do this.
Oh, no.
The group is going to make a group charisma check. Everyone in the squad.
God.
But thanks to your actions, you either will get advantage or disadvantage on this roll. And then as a group, depending on what tier you are at on, like, I think I would do like the best 3 roles. That will be how the society perceives this story. So
I like that.
Before we get cooking, who has advantage and who doesn't? Jeremiah, you would normally have disadvantage, but due to your incredible heroics, I'm willing to flip that to advantage. Lexi, having got the last kill and not being blessed, gets advantage. RG and Ari, not only because it's the daily scripts, but also for your incredible bravery, get advantage. Bana, you do not get advantage. You roll flat, and everyone else rolls flat. Nobody gets disadvantage.
All right.
So we're all going to roll.
All right, so we're going to have a -1 to mine. I'm not good at talking to the press. 12.
RG's charisma modifier is 0, so he also got 12.
12.
Hey.
I got a 13.
13.
None of us are particularly good at press.
Okay, I got to roll for literally everybody else.
Oh, you ventured into the land of the giants and exploded a bunch of barrels to save its child. Oh,
You
ventured into a mysterious portal and blew yourself half to
I would have
hell.
kept my leg. That's all I'm saying.
What sort of pussy
didn't
loses
happen,
a limb in an explosion? You could have just ducked, moron. How'd you blow up in the water?
I suppose High Blade
Loser.
Vera will also get advantage for the heroics as well. That's a 16 for Vera.
Thank God one of us can talk.
Splat is going to roll.
Oh,
This,
God,
like,
if Splat
thoroughly-
gives the report.
I can swear Jeremiah's reading this paper and looking up at the press guy like, you watched me blow up. This is the best you could do. You watched me explode.
Splat got...
Did you see how far I flew coming out of that
My
portal?
leg probably hit
Is
you.
this
I
a
got
30-foot
thrown
flight
3
article?
times. I thought you were the best.
Lexi's going to get like a 24.
Tracks.
Good. Thank God.
Tracks. That very much gives like star quarterback of the football team that just had a huge upset. He's just running in like, yeah, woo!
Oh, yeah.
Lexi's our poster boy. Lexi is the man of the people.
I love the idea of Lexi being like the chosen poster boy of this entire group, having done one thing. He showed up at the end of the combat with that giant, went yeah, and killed it, and then got the picture standing on top of the corpse.
Coming from like a southern perspective too, I will say that the angle of like small hometown boy becomes super successful soldier would be wildly popular. Like that's
super
an angle
popular.
right there.
We had like a general that's not even supposed to be out there venture into an unknown land with a known criminal, save 9 hostages, blow up a secret sect of giants, and come back, and it's not even the top line. The top line is local hometown boy slays giant on his own. In the background of the picture, you could see me and RG just crumpled on the fucking floor, having been thrown across the battlefield.
The drawing is just like Lexi with a triumphant stance, and then way far in the back line is your body hurtling out of the whirlpool of midair.
Okay.
You can see my leg. If you look real close, you can see there's a little sketch of my leg going off the other direction.
So
by a miraculous stroke of luck, Lexi had the genius idea to tie a chain to the end of his axe and help people through the mysterious whirlpool all on his own.
So I have already forgotten what people have rolled, and I didn't write down name next to people, but
None of
I
us
remember
got
12,
anything
12,
notable.
13.
I know Lexi got the 24. I believe Ari is the one that just got a 19. And then 15.
Vera got a 16, I know you said.
16? Maybe I misclicked. 16 then. And those are the top 3. And so the person who rolls it doesn't really matter because this is just a group charisma check. It's a headliner's check. Unless somebody crits, I guess, then I would give some special sauce in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these all together and take the average of the top 3, which gives us 19.6, which I would round up to 20. Which is the highest bracket I have.
Excellent.
So, the society receives the first story of the headliners. The Battle at Lone Shire. I can't express enough how incredible of a job the headliners did on this mission. First mission, and this is how the Society of Cazilor perceives this. First mission, and they not only killed a giant captain, but they killed 2 and a knight and another Atrarian. That was like an evil scientist, probably. That's 4 giant kills with a squad of 6. That's crazy. That's insane. Those stats are out of this world. The Scritori twins, that dynamic is an absolute hit. RG is renowned for his bravery, and Ari is renowned for always sticking by her brother's side and rushing in to save him. Jeremiah has little edgelord fans who want to go around and learn this weird new fighting style for climbers. Young girls around the nation are putting flowers in their hair to look like Winnie.
Oh, no.
After seeing someone like Baina achieve such greatness, after-school enchanting clubs have never been more popular.
Oh, that makes him so happy.
The headliners have earned their name.
Oh, no.
And as you ride through into the World Assembly, it takes a few days. Every town you go through, people want to talk to you. They want to praise you. They want to get your autograph even. People had eyes on Baina even leading up to this because of the Daily Scrits have been hyping it up. As soon as they found out that the Scritoris would be on Baina's team, they've spent the last 2 years hyping up legendary Captain Baina coming back. So their first mission back, people were waiting for it. And now it's here, and it meet everyone's expectations, and the headliner squad is on top of the world.
Oh, no. Baina, how you holding up with the fact that we're now famous?
Again, very traumatized man, not taking that super. I will say, like, that you mentioned like kids getting interested in enchanting. That is like the one part of this. Whenever like people crowd around to meet them as they're passing through a town, he's gonna try to avoid as much as possible. But if like a kid runs up to him with some little crystal thing he's made, he's 100% immediately gonna be like, he's gonna give like a surprisingly nice but like genuinely helpful. It's like, oh yes, you could refine the cut here, but very good work on the formula. He's fully gonna be giving like critiques on that if he can.
You got kids showing up, showing you their little trinkets. Every city, every town you go through, it's a total smash, gang.
I have a character thing that I want to add to Jeremiah, thinking about how he views things. I don't know how Baina's going to take it, but do notice in the time from the day after the battle to like we're going through towns now. Jeremiah only ever wears his leg when there is a potential for combat. Otherwise, he does not wear it and uses a crutch.
I think at first he's gonna ask about that because he fully assumes there's something wrong with it. Like,
right
after you like explain it, or he thinks about it for a second, because I get like the emotional reason why you're doing it. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But he fully thinks that it's a malfunction at first.
Yeah. After Jeremiah has to be like, no. It's a weapon. At the end of the day, I gave my sacrifice for what I needed to do, and I would rather not pretend as if I didn't.
I can make you a more subtly colored one if you'd prefer. We can inlay the crystals deeper.
I don't want it. I don't want to hide it. I don't want people to think that I'm hiding.
I see. Of course. Just keep it in a dry place when not worn.
Not too dry. I don't want it to burst. It's not too flammable, is it?
The crystals don't absorb any excess energy, but if it gets it's made of wood, so if water sits in there for too long.
Got it. But otherwise, Jeremiah he hangs out in the carriages, mostly because I don't think I can ride a horse now.
I don't know. know. If you, you could
Unless I have the leg on, I don't know if I can ride a horse.
There's a way to ride a horse that like princesses do, where they have both legs on one side and sit on it like a chair.
Wouldn't that be so fucking funny? Jeremiah, the edgelord that he is, scarred up to all shit, his choppily fucked up hair, and he's riding princess.
The Bane of Giants, the Horseman of Death,
Giants Bane rides into town.
Sideways.
The Horseman of Death rides side saddle is a wild line.
Oh my god.
Kids love the leg. They think that shit's so cool. It becomes like a thing about human endurance and the indomitable human spirit and shit like that. I would say Ari definitely has a moment with Argy. I think one of these times when you're riding through town and get swarmed by people and kids and teens who look up to you literally because you're in a wagon and they're looking up to you with this gleam in their eyes. I think at a certain point Ari will speak to you and go, Argy, I said that I don't know if I would have been at the tryouts if you or Grandpa weren't in the picture. But man, even though it was all fucked up, I'm glad we did it.
Really?
Are you not?
I don't know. It's great. People are happy, but I mean, doesn't it feel kind of weird? I mean, I knew our business was like papers and stuff, but we're selling people hope, we're selling them violence, we're selling them war. Jeremiah lost a leg and it's celebrated. I get people do what they have to do, but I don't know. The admiration, it feels weirdly tainted.
I get that. I just think we have to earn the title. And we will. These people see us as a beacon of hope, and that's exactly what we'll be.
Hope is just a thing. A feeling. And it's something that you can use to direct people. Where are we directing people? Having them look up to Lexi! Lexi! He could be squished at any moment, and he's the role model of our entire world. Isn't that crazy?
Well, Lexi is crazy. But that's why people love him. He's brave. And when facing adversity, the size of trees, facing literal giants, he's still out there. He's the common man, just like all of them. Look, that's why he can't get back to the wagon. And you see him in like a sea of kids. Like, okay, yeah, God, I really can't sign everyone's forehead. So we're going to have to, I got to get back to the wagon. It's like, you want these kids to grow up with a miserable life thinking that we can't fight back?
I guess not. I don't know. I guess we can't be choosers.
I want to have a moment with Argy on this journey.
Ooh, go ahead.
Because I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, how well are you hiding the obvious doubts you're having?
I don't think Argy's hiding it super well. Like, he's been around he's been around these people in 2 years, and this isn't necessarily the first crisis of faith he would have had.
Right.
But it is probably the most intense. So he's not hiding the fact that there's something on his mind very well.
So I want to describe it as it's one of the nights that we've like set up camp as we're traveling through. People have gone to bed. I'm assuming you're staring into the fire, brooding and contemplating life by the sounds of it. And Jeremiah hobbles up on his crutch that he's gotten a lot more used to using, and sits down opposite the fire of you and just pours himself a bowl of whatever was cooking and just goes, okay. What part of it?
What part of what?
What part of the last 2 weeks did the damage?
I wouldn't say that's how you compound damage of this kind. Every little thing leaves its own unique dent, bruise, etc. But the one on my mind when I look at you, there is a moment right before you come to, I'm sure you can relate, you were recently unconscious, where it feels like everything was a dream, and all the stress on your body was just that of a nightmare. And then you're fully conscious. That wasn't the case after I met with you.
No.
Now, how's that, Jeremiah?
Well, do you want the chemical instructions of how we make our special sedative? Do you want the darts that we use, the city that we buy them in, the special background of the potion mixers that we have at the commune?
None of these chemists were people of note. This isn't a drug of particular note or rarity.
No. It's a sedative that we make from Mother Nature herself, out on the commune, specifically so that when we have to put people under, and we do have to put people under, they do not feel like they've been hit with a carriage or knocked around by a giant the next morning. We have it made so that when people like you say no, because it is their right to do so, they do not fear retaliation from having simply learned the alternative. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Sometimes it's nicer to have been able to walk away from a fight than have to learn how to use a crutch. Sometimes it's nicer to not have to wash the splattered remains of someone who didn't have to die off of your face before returning to town. But sometimes those things need to be confronted, which is why the option is there.
Quite a speech. I think somewhere in there you might have implied me walking away was an act of cowardice, which is fair.
No, I'm saying that I would rather have 2 legs right now. I'm saying that I would rather have not been blown up. I would rather that not have to be an option. I would rather that none of us were there. I don't think it's cowardice to run away at all. I think it's the only sane thing to do. In fact, I think the fact that you are obviously feeling a conflicted feeling about something, I might not know what it is, but the fact that it's there at all shows a higher function of thought in compared to blind acceptance.
Here's where I'm at, Jeremiah. I'm real fucking sad. I'm tired. I've been stressed since age 8, if not earlier, whenever I fully understood family dynamics. But the reason I'm sad is because I thought everyone outside of that was happier. That my own little pocket of hell was localized. Seeing this, I think the world is a stone cage that isn't going to change. Hope is a thing that makes us feel better in the moment so that we can put our head down and just march toward a death that we pray has meaning when we get there, because it would be very fucking scary to have a feeling of meaninglessness just as you're about to lose your last moment of consciousness. That's what we're selling. A story that'll put people to bed with a little bit more comfort, and having suffered through that comfort and come through the other side, still fucking shivering like a shaved puppy, then I just don't think there's a fucking point to it. And I think you're the worst culprit because you have some inkling that it's gonna change. But evil is universal. And evil is everywhere. Study the history books. It gets into every single crevice of power and makes us live like this. We're just a little part of that.
Jeremiah, using the spoon of whatever he's eating, first of all, you see he's smiling very wide. He goes, now you get it. Now you see. He sets his bowl down and he leans in. I was a little older than some, but I was a lot younger than you when I found that out. The Masmus ripped everything away. Everything. And when someone like me could not be of use to them, I was thrown out as well. There were nights that there was no food, no water, where the only thing that I could eat was the rats off of the floor, and even then I would have to fight them to get them. There were nights where the world was a dark and stone cage that we are all stuck in. And the damnedest thing about all of it is that eventually, if you keep digging yourself deeper, that pit becomes a tunnel, and you make it out the other side. I don't want to be doing this. I've spent my entire life running from this. And he holds his Masmus uniform. This is a death sentence. This is a stamp that they put on you to throw you at a wall, to throw bodies at a problem until it's gone. I do not think that running is cowardice. I don't think fear is cowardice. I don't think hiding is cowardice. I think that you should be allowed to survive. I never joined because I did not want to fight, because I do not think we need to fight, because I do not want people who do not need or want this fight to be thrown into it to begin with. You are right. The fact that we are celebrities, the fact that I have people asking me to sign their legs, and the fact that you are propped up because of your heroism and your glory and your valor when you don't feel any of that. I think the fact that Lexi is propped up as some sort of massive person is horrifying. And not because none of us deserve it, but because when Lexi falls, not if, when, because we're soldiers, our job is to die. When he falls, he's just another body on the pile. He's useful now. We are useful now. I'm not coming to tell you that things are going to be all right, and I'm not going to tell you that things get better, and I'm not going to tell you that everybody doesn't live through their own special little piece of hell. What I do want to tell you is that those feelings do not make you lesser. They do not make you less brave. They do not make you less powerful. And at the end of the day, the fact that you can think that and still continue shows strength that very few will ever possess. But know, deep down, when the walls of that stone cage get too close in and you feel yourself digging deeper, you were never alone. And you don't need to feel that way. And eventually you'll find your way out of the tunnel. And he grabs his crutch and he stands up and hobbles off to his tent.
RG stares into the fire once again.
Wow. A lot of pro relocation sounding talk. Not very pro annihilation of all of you to be having this conversation at the campsite.
Highblade's in the corner listening in with her eagle ears and being like, "These treasonous bastards."
We eventually get to the Warlord Assembly. Inside the main space of the Warlord Assembly is huge. It's this brutalist architecture. The Warlord Assembly is in Calum Heights, so it's nearby the Maz's Training Academy. And this is where... So what the Warlord Assembly is basically a collection of seasoned veterans of the Mazmas who advise and make decisions for the greater of the war going forward. And so they're like the highest, one of the highest ranks that you can be a part of. And so we are in this space. There are seats. There's like a seating arrangement. There are seats for giants and there are seats for humans, and there's like a concoction of all of them, and they're raised and they're taller than everyone else, and so they're all looking down so they can see everybody. There's a skylight in the center letting in some natural light, and we hop in right in sort of like the middle of a conversation where one of the warlords, Warlord Abdul, says, "So, Baina, let me ask you this. Can these portals be a reliable tool in the war that we could take advantage of, or our enemy could take advantage of?"
In the moment, as we are speaking right now, I don't know if reliable would be the word. Their presence is unpredictable. We don't know when they could appear. We don't know how long they stay in those locations. If we could find ways to predict these things, then yes, they could be quite advantageous. Unfortunately, we know that the Atrarians are making use of them already. From the intel that I have currently, I can't say whether this was a stroke of luck for them or something calculated. That is something we need to be aware of. Their potential cannot be denied.
Understood. And another one speaks up. This one, Warlord Sabina, a giant woman. And she goes, "Hi, Blade Vera. Have Baina and the headliner squad been meeting expectations? I know you were not too thrilled when we assigned you to watch over them." Vera steps forward, still injured, obviously, as it's only been a week. And she goes, "Warlord Sabina, I do not think it is out of the question to say that the headliner squad has exceeded my expectations. Every single one of them has been operating to the best of their ability to complete their tasks, including Captain Baina." And Warlord Sabina goes, "And there weren't any outstanding issues?" Vera thinks, and she goes, "None of any importance." And Sabina goes, "And you, Captain Baina, have you had any major issues with your PSK, Knight Jeremiah Stokes?"
Baina thinks about it for a second. No. He's been performing quite admirably. And he's just going to leave it at that.
I see. And an older gentleman, just a human, speaks up and goes, "Well, it's only fair. The rest of Headliner Squad, has there been any major issues with your captain's ability to lead?" Does anybody speak up?
Jeremiah steps forward.
I imagine everyone in the room is like, what is this gonna be?
Oh boy.
Permission to speak freely, sir.
Are you addressing me?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, like, if you're addressing me, yeah.
Granted.
The number of times that Bana could have left me to die exceed the number of people that could have been saved on that mission. And not only did Captain Bana make sure that the most expendable member of his team got home alive, Jeremiah stomps his right foot down. He has made sure that they have come back whole, regardless of injuries taken and regardless of difficulties faced, even in unprecedented times against an unprecedented enemy.
I see. Thank you, Knight Stokes. Your insight is valuable. And I would like to say,
steps back.
I would like to say that your sacrifice, although required, is still noble and appreciated. Anybody else have anything to say about Captain Adrian Bana?
RG can step up.
Knight Scritori.
Sir, these past few days have been understandably rough on us all. And I can say that there could be no greater composure asked of a person than that which our captain has shown. The fact that he is able to come in and out of such a stressful scenario with a head straight on his shoulders after so long out of action speaks more to his honor than I ever could.
I see. Thank you. And nobody else steps forward. At this point, the giant woman speaks up again and goes, well, I suppose we better get to the matter at hand. Atrarian political leaders have already come out and stated that they took the murder of 2 Atrarian cads and a grunt and a scientist as an act of war. Their reasoning is, well, we killed Atrarians on Atrarian soil. It's a crock of shit, but it's the truth. They came at us with everything they had, crocodile tears and all. Talk about the horrible loss, as if they weren't conducting horrible losses on us. We've already spotted soldiers rotating towards Starfield Passage, and the city of Loneshire has been preemptively evacuated, just in case. We have new intel from Forget-Me-Not. Headliner Squad, we have reason to believe that Estersol politician Viscount Nunez, kin of Belore, is a high priority target for the Atrarian military. It seems they have some sort of political grudge. The Headliner Squad will be on bodyguard duty for the next 6 months, and then you will be replaced by a different squad. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
Bana's gonna raise a hand.
Yes, Captain.
You mentioned that this is an Estersol politician.
Correct.
Will we be stationed in Cazilor or in Estersol for this operation?
You will follow him wherever he goes. He has homesteads in both nations. Also,
Understood.
you will have a month to rest between these operations. So your effective date will not start until, and she spits out a date that's a month from now. Anything else?
Jeremiah raises his hand.
Knight Stokes.
Ma'am, our capabilities have been tested in fighting giants, specifically.
Yes.
Are we sure that it is a wise decision to put the, frankly, renowned team noted for starting this conflict close to a high priority military target, are we sure that is a good idea that will not, in fact, invoke an attack?
I want to jump in real quick just to sort of handle the possible political implications of the guy on basically probation asking that question.
Yeah.
Allow me to remind Knight Stokes that this is the Warlord Council we are addressing, and their judgment should not be questioned. But from a tactical standpoint, and then I'm going to turn, the answer to the question would be interesting if you're willing to provide.
Of course. Our goal is not to incite an attack on Viscount Nunez. That is obviously the last of our wants. What we need is to see the enemy's hand. Right now, we don't know what the enemy is going to do. We presume they might do a counterattack on Loneshire. Because of your value, that is why we have removed you from Loneshire and sought you to protect this politician. Now, as far as concerns for attacks, if that is a concern for your squad, we can always have you operate not in Masmus gear and just always rotate around Nunez if you deem that to be a safety concern. You, Captain Baina and Highblade Vera, you are both very intelligent in battle strategy. If you deem that necessary, you are granted the permission by the Warlord Assembly to do such a thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Jeremiah's hand goes up again.
I shoot him a look of like, fucking really? 3 times, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He doesn't put it down.
No, yeah, I don't stop him. I just shoot him a look.
Will the headliner squad's bodyguard duties for politician Nunez be public knowledge?
No. As such, your war correspondent, Su Young, will not be able to write about any endeavors until after they are already finished.
That is preferable, of course, from a strategic standpoint. I say, kind of act as if I'm
trying to cut me off.
I'm agreeing with the council directly at Jeremiah, if that makes sense.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeremiah, thoroughly ignoring you, just goes, and steps back in line. Obviously not done, but obviously not getting anywhere.
Again, once he steps back, also, of course, we'll discuss the strategic particulars between our squad members separately.
Yes, and many of your questions may very well be answered in the report, and the giant waves a hand, and a human on the ground by you sort of walks up and hands you a thick, beefy scroll that will have all the details of your operation.
I will take it.
If that is all, then the Warlord Assembly, this session is effectively over. Headliner Squad, thank you for everything you've done so far and everything you will continue to do. May the wild help us all. Dismissed. And that is where we will end episode 4. Yeah.
I don't want to lose the thread.
Okay.
I do want to step over to Baina and go, this doesn't make any sense, right?
I understand the possible strategic value of it. Once I go over the report in detail, I wasn't lying in there. We will discuss the strategic particulars separately.
I just spent 2 weeks making us celebrities for killing 4 giants, and the first thing that they do is try and secretly put us undercover to protect a politician that is in enemy territory, and you don't think that that is a tactical decision.
Jeremiah,
it is not in enemy territory.
Jeremiah,
Yes.
we have just received this mission, and I am holding a scroll the width of a giant's club. Let me analyze before we have this discussion.
It smells like a patsy play, sir.
Let me read their goddamn notes before we discuss, and then we will.
Yes, sir. And he steps back.
And that is where we will end episode 4 of Tales from Cazilor, the Golden Era. If you made it this far, we greatly appreciate you. As always, we're about to go record our after show that is Patreon exclusive. 130 of you are free members. And over the last month, 60 of you have transferred over to being paid and haven't switched back. Consider the rest of you doing that as well. It all goes toward helping the show.
400 members total? That's crazy, actually.
That's insane.
Yeah, 400 total. 270 paid and 130 free.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Also, go vote for us for the Crit Awards.
Awards.
The link
yes.
is in the description. Best upcoming YouTube channel and best lyrical song written by a musician in the TTRPG space. That is all.
Yes, if you're in our Patreon Discord, we have that voting link pinned in the announcements channel. So that's up if you're seeing this early and there's no YouTube description yet.
All right. We'll see you guys next week and your friends too, because this is the best series ever made. Talk to you later. Goodbye.
See ya.
Stop streaming.